Do 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 do. Who else? Who else? Who else? We got? Mm, 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 where my guy at? All right, we got some more speakers coming. I think I got all of them right now that are on. A couple of them, are coming directly from other stuff, which we really appreciate. We got, these are whole college students, and they busy, so they are taking time out of their schedule. Some of them told us that they would be on, as quick as they could get on. They are coming from class or activities on campus, or all kinds of other things. So we will probably have a few more kind of joining us throughout, but this is who we got here right now. So we'll just kind of add them in. It is 6 o'clock. We got, okay, I'm gonna just look. We got 33 on right now. I am sure that number is gonna go up, but it is 6 o'clock. And I told our speakers that we were gonna, if nothing else, we were gonna absolutely respect their time and the fact that they decided to come and share with us this evening. And so I wanted to make sure right, they're ready with questions already. So I wanted to make sure that we kind of gave everybody a chance to kind of introduce themselves. They're going to tell you what school they attend and where they are, why they how they ended up at that particular school. And then we're going to kind of give all of you an opportunity to ask whatever questions you have. And so as I've told some of y'all, and I kind of, prepped our guest already, if you have questions about what kinds of scholarships they applied to, what kinds of things they were doing in, while they were in high school, or even, their first couple of months of their first year of college, because not everybody here is a freshman, right? And so if you have any of those questions, you'll be able to add those to the chat once we kind of get moving. But it is after 6, and we do want to give them a chance to kind of just introduce themselves. And so I don't know if anybody wants to go first and jump in. So I'm just gonna, Annie was the first one that got on the call, so I'm gonna say Annie can go first with her introduction. So please, Annie, tell us about yourself. Oh, my bad, Annie. You're right. Because when I said, that I was cutting off the students' microphones, I cut off y'all.
Thanks, Annie. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see everyone. My name is Annie. I'm a rising junior into the next year at Stanford. I kind of, want to say that I went to this school but we can wait till other time, but I'm majoring in human biology, and I'm a aspiring pre-med. So yeah, if anyone has any questions about pre-med or pre-health tracks, then yeah, I can definitely answer for you guys.
Nice. Okay, Anaya, you just next on my screen, so you want to introduce yourself? I thought I let you cut your mic on. Let me do it again. There you go, Anaya.
Hey, y'all. My name is Anaya. I go to Clemson University. I say the main reasons I chose to go here is because, one, of my major, I'm an animal science veterinary major, so I need to go to a school with that major. It's not a lot of schools with that major. And they also have a very high graduation rate, a very high retention rate, and the acceptance rate is low. And I just love the campus, and they have a ton of resources. So that's why I chose to go here.
Nice. Shadrach, you next up on my screen.
Hi, everyone. I go to Brown University. I'm a freshman. I don't have like a specific reason for choosing Brown, but they do have like a nice open curriculum where you can take like any course in any field, regardless of your concentration. So it gives you like the opportunity to explore different interests and fields. I'm doing computer science, so it is like the best school I got into for computer science, but I don't have any like specific reason. I would be lying if I said I did. So
I respect that. Hattie, you wanna introduce yourself? Tell us your school. Oh, sorry. Hattie, let me let you unmute yourself. Sorry, you can do it now, Hattie.
Hey everybody, my name is Hattie Najee and I'm a freshman at the University of Georgia. I'm a sports management major and I picked UGA because I'm a sports management major because I feel like UGA is known as the powerhouse of academics and athletics. So I feel like that's two things that I value and UGA was just the perfect fit for me. And then it's UGA, so I had to.
Okay, Amy, you want to tell us how you ended up at Georgia Southern?
Okay. Well, my name is Innie. I am a freshman at Georgia Southern. I picked this school because, I don't know, I guess it was far from where I stay. I'm a business management major and I minor in psychology. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, good stuff. Nev, let me send you the ask to unmute again. Nev, there you go.
Okay, hi y'all. My name is Nevia. I go to Kennesaw State. I'm a nursing major, and I picked Kennesaw State. Well, I actually picked it when I was in like 7th grade. I went on a tour with my cousins, and then I like fell in love with the school, and I was just stuck on the school.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And Brother Hirsch. Oh wait, my fault. Well, okay, we won't have y'all can just stay off mute now, and we'll be good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hirsch. I am a junior at Dartmouth College. I'm majoring in anthropology on the pre-med track. So happy to answer any questions about that. And I chose Dartmouth because, well, I mean, I say Dartmouth chose me. I did what's called Questbridge. So it's like I was matched to Dartmouth with I guess Questbridge, the way it works is like you apply to schools, and if you match with one school that you apply to, you kind of have to go there. But the benefit is that you go there with a full ride scholarship. So financial aid was my biggest reason for going to Dartmouth.
Nice. Okay, so that is pretty much where everybody is and kind of how they got to where they are. I'm making each one of you a co-host so that y'all can mute and unmute yourselves freely, guest speakers. So I'm just kind of giving y'all that so that I don't have to do it every time y'all start talking. So I'm trying to go through and do that now. And if I see any of our other presenters jump on, we also had 2 former students, one at Georgia Tech and one at UPenn that are supposed to be joining us a little bit later. So we'll definitely cut their cameras on and let them introduce themselves if they're able to jump on soon. All right, so we got a couple of questions that have started coming into the chat. The first of which, we do have some students that are younger. Like I said, our program serves students in middle school and high school. And someone says, do y'all have any advice specifically for like an 8th grader? What should an 8th grader be doing now? And even as they go immediately into high school, if they want to end up in a top tier school, in a good school for them, what should they be doing if they're back when you guys were 13, 14? What were you kind of focused on or thinking about?
Enjoy life. I feel like 8th grade is like way too early to be worrying about college applications. The biggest thing was just like make sure you're getting good grades. Well, no, actually, because like colleges don't look at middle school transcripts really. So I mean, as an 8th grader, yeah, just enjoy life, like be a good student. I don't really have any other college specific advice.
I'd say like have some sort of general plan, like it's general meaning like very general. I don't have like a whole 4-year plan for high school, obviously not, but I'd say like have something that you want to do in the future. Like where can you say that you'll be in 10 years? Maybe answer that question. Yeah.
I say like learn how to write. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just like Annie said, just explore, figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like. Think about things, think about what you would see yourself doing for the rest of your life.
I would say learn how to like write essays, because like when you're getting ready to go to college, you have to write a lot of essays for scholarships to get into schools. So like learn how to like write an essay without kind of like stammering on it. Just learn how to be like a fluent writer.
Nice. Good stuff. Anybody else? Anybody else? Like I said, y'all don't have to answer every question. You can kind of jump in and jump out. So one of the students says, and this, I guess this is a question for any of you, what is your favorite part of your specific college that you chose? So far, I know some of you have only been there like a month and a half, 2 months, but what has been your favorite part of your college campus, your college experience so far?
Yeah.
I like Brown's open curriculum. Like, I feel like everyone here doesn't really care about anything but whatever they have going on with themselves. So everyone's like has their own independent thing going on. They're not worried about, I don't know, like just anything. It's like kind of weird, but it's funny. So I like that.
I think for me, like this is what I was going to get into. I really enjoy like a college with a good community, something that's like collaborative and not as competitive or cutthroat. You see that at a lot of schools where a lot of students are just very, again, yeah, cutthroat, and a lot of them is like just pining to do whatever they can to sort of advance themselves and not other people. So I really enjoy how collaborative our environment is, and for a pre-med, I need that to like stay sane, mentally. So yeah, I really enjoy this, and plus like the abundant resources that the school offers.
Yeah. Anybody else?
See me at UG.
Oh.
Okay. So for me, I would definitely say the student life and like community on campus, because it's always something going on. Like there's always something you can do. Like there's tons of events. I be going to everything. I'm in so many clubs right now. I'm in so many clubs. I cannot lie. So yeah, I would definitely say that.
Nice. Hattie, would you?
Yeah. I would say me at UGA, the thing I love most, I just love it here. Like surprisingly, because UGA wasn't my first school, but it's always something to do. It's always a place to study. It's just so many resources on campus that meets everybody's needs. So it's a lot of inclusion on campus, which did surprise me when I got here. So I love it here.
Okay. Anybody else?
I want to add on to what she said, like the inclusivity. Like I know, don't be scared to go to a PWI. Okay, that's one thing, because I go to a PWI and a lot of people are scared to not go to an HBCU. But like, there's so many Black people on campus. There's so many Black people, and even if you are no shade at an HBCU, you're not gonna be friends with every Black person there. But there's a lot of Asians and just colored people, like everybody. Everyone's here.
I want to.
And then that brings y'all a lot closer.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
I want to add on.
It brings y'all a lot closer.
I want to add on to what they.
Go ahead.
I want to add on to what they were saying about like the inclusivity and stuff, because like I go to a PWI too, and it's like I love it here so much. Like most of my friends, we're just all like of different races and stuff. So it's kind of like it's so cool to go to like a PWI like Kennesaw, because it's a mixture of a whole bunch of people. Like it's not just like strictly a whole bunch of white folks, a whole bunch of Black folks. It's a whole bunch of like different people. So I really love it here, like the inclusivity and stuff.
Let me ask you this. This isn't a kid question, but I hear y'all kind of referencing it. How worried were y'all coming from the communities y'all come from, right? Coming from Griffin, coming from Clayton County, coming from Hirsch, wherever you came from at the end, like I forgot where you were at, but coming from, kind of the smaller towns that we kind of come from, coming from Banneker, and then going to, kind of this type of community that you have really never had experience in, right? Because Banneker don't look nothing like Athens, right? Or Clayton County doesn't look anything like Stanford or Brown, right? And so how worried were y'all before getting there? Like, I hear y'all kind of talking about it, but how worried were y'all about, kind of just going out and having these kind of experiences?
For me, it was quite a bit of a shock, culture shock coming to Dartmouth. Like Dartmouth was the first time ever in my life that I was in a classroom where it was mostly like white people. So it was definitely a big shock for me, but I feel like it's been a good experience in that like I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna have to be like the only person of color in a room in the future. So like it's given me a great way to like kind of grow up quickly, I guess, coming to college and being in an environment where I wasn't where I wasn't like surrounded by people of color.
I think it's definitely like a big change, but you can also get excited for it because you do get to meet like a bunch of different people, and it kind of does prepare you for whatever you might do in the future. It's like kind of representative of like, let's say, the actual US like demographics. Instead of like just your small town, you get introduced to like a bunch of different people, and that kind of prepares you for your career, I guess.
I got a lot of FOMO in the beginning. It was really bad. Because I think when it comes to like towards the income gap or like the privilege gap, there's like a lot of people who go out every weekend and are very culturally enriched and have a lot of things going on for themselves. The thing is, like, for me, coming from Upward Bound, the first basketball game I've ever went to was through Upward Bound. So it was just like, wow, like I've only had like so many experiences living in Clayton County that it was like hard to keep conversation with some people. But as you start of going through that college journey yourself and sort of like learn the ins and outs of the school, then you sort of get used to it. And then you sort of become like socially interactive with everyone in your community.
Man, that's real, and I appreciate your transparency and your honesty. Because that is the thing, right? Like Annie was just saying, she had a lot of experiences while she was in Upward Bound, through the stuff she was doing with Trio, but then she goes to Stanford, and there are people at Stanford who have families with yachts and stuff, and you know what I mean. And there is sometimes a shift because you feel like, well, I come from one background, and these other people are coming from all of these other experiences. So I appreciate your honesty on that. Anybody? Nev? Yeah.
I was trying to click the unmute button, but like coming from Griffin to Kansas, it's so different here because like in Griffin, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that look like me in Griffin, and I'm like related to a lot of people in Griffin, so it's like a big old community in Griffin. So it's like me coming up here, being around people that I'm not related to, trying to get like used to other people. And like here's an example. So like me and my friends were talking about something and I said something and they didn't know what I was talking about. And then in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not in Griffin no more because everybody would know what I was talking about because it's like a common thing. So like up here, I'm having to like navigate and learn how people are and like how they talk and think and stuff. It's just so weird. The culture shock is crazy, man.
That's good stuff. Okay, I got a question in the chat. They said they're asking simultaneously about computer science and about Brown, I think. And so Shadrach, do you know how much Brown is a semester, and how is the school? That one of our young budding scientists is on the call, and they asked how is Brown and how much is it, each semester?
It depends for everyone. So like we have no merit scholarships. All scholarships are based on like how much money your family makes. So it depends on how much that's a lot. That's like the same. It's like kind of the same for a lot of the schools like Brown. They have no merit scholarships. So for me, I'm not paying anything because my family doesn't make that much money, or my direct family doesn't make that much money. So it's based on like just your mother and your father. So I'm not paying anything. And Brown CS so far is really good. I've heard, well, I'll talk about like the outcomes because I don't know much about, I've only been here for like a month, but the outcomes for Brown CS I think the salaries are in like the top 10 for the universities in the US for the outcomes for CS, but I don't know much about the actual content or like the units and the content of like the professors or anything, since I've only taken like one class, or I'm in the middle of one class. So
Right. And so high school students, middle school students, for those of you that don't know, and right, when you go to college, you don't really start with your major stuff your first year or two sometimes of college, right? Sometimes depending on, your dual enrollment credits and how many credits are accepted, you might take some of those classes early on, but for the most part, you don't jump into your major courses until maybe second semester of your second year or your third year of college sometimes. So that's why Shadrach is saying he doesn't necessarily know a lot about the specific program, but I just wanted to add that for context.
I will say though, Brown's open curriculum allows you to like skip all your prerequisites and just take any class kind of. So I could go and take a class in like neuroscience if I wanted to, but I would never do that because I would never take a neuroscience class. But yeah, you can pretty much take any class you wanted to and kind of explore the curriculum and try to see what you want to do without having to take any like prerequisites. The only prerequisites are to take like classes further down in the like concentration. So it's like kind of a guideline to every concentration you want to do. So I think Brown's like different in that aspect. But yeah, you can take pretty much any class and you can kind of explore what you want to do.
Nice. Next question I see, and this might be a little too specific, but do you know the requirements to get into Stanford? I'm just curious, Annie. Like they're high. they're high. It's Stanford.
I think they're probably pretty much the same as like any private college. You need an SAT and ACT. I think they're still accepting that this year, right? With COVID, I don't know how that changes. 2 letters of recommendation, high school transcripts, and any other like college course or credit that you've had from your school. That those are the major requirements, but they're generally on the main website. And like I'm also free for like you guys like text me or anything if you need to, because yeah. But I applied through a program called LIDA, and I can get into that more later. But yeah, there's like many different ways, but just to like conclude, like I think it's pretty much the same as any sort of private college, and I think Mr. Kenny has that topic for you guys to cover.
And let me say this, guys, and I'm just telling y'all all of this. Like I said in the beginning of this, these are some of the smartest young people that I've worked with ever, right? Everybody that we invited to this call is extremely intelligent, and I am pretty sure that I know the answer to this. Did any of you get accepted to every college that you applied to? Did you get right? Okay, so Hattie's saying no. Did Anna, did you get accepted to every college you applied to? Shadrach, did you get accepted to every school? Right. And so Hirsch is saying no as well. Right. And so I really do want y'all to understand this, whether it's Stanford or Kennesaw State or Georgia Southern or Clemson or UGA or Dartmouth or Brown, apply everywhere. Because you never know who's going to not only accept you, but also who's going to give you the financial package that you need to go to school, right? And so like Shadrach said, Shadrach is really at Brown because they gave him a great package, right? And so I don't want you to be so afraid of rejection that you avoid applying for schools. If you've done the work, right? If you have the GPA necessary and you've taken your tests and studied and you have test scores that are comparable with some of the colleges, I want you to just apply, because you're probably going to get some no's, and this goes for college as well as scholarships. You're going to get some no's, but all it takes is the right yes from the right school for you. And so I don't want any of you to not, apply because you're worried about the no's. I want to make sure I say that. Okay, somebody said, what was the hardest? Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Kenny, let me piggyback on you. Because like I told y'all, UGA was not my first school. I wanted to go to UNC Chapel Hill, but they denied me. But I'm glad I had I applied to almost 30 schools and I had many other acceptances. So like Mr. Kenny said, don't limit yourself. Not only that, always have a backup plan, because you never know what could go wrong. Because if I put so much faith into UNC, but I still had a backup plan. And I'm glad UGA accepted me because it provided me, what's that word? It provided me a backup plan. I can't think of the word, but it's been a long day, y'all. A long day. So, but yes, never limit yourself.
All right, what was the most difficult part about the transition from high school to college? Anybody? Most difficult part of your transition from high school into college?
Having to live in Rhode Island. It's like, yeah.
Rhode Island, nice.
It's weird. I think if you move like a really long distance, and it's like it takes a while for you to actually settle in and realize where you are. Because when I moved in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to school here. But then it didn't really I didn't really know what was going on. Like, I don't know why I'm in Rhode Island, but I'm in Rhode Island. So
nice. Anybody else? The most challenging part of kind of getting used to your new space? Everybody else, it was easy.
Learning how to study better.
Nice.
Because I definitely didn't study well in middle school and high school that I thought I did. Because I was like, okay, they always say that it's gonna get easier when I go to middle. No, it's gonna get harder when I go to middle school, and then it didn't. But then it said it was gonna get harder in high school, and then it didn't. So then I thought it was the same process for that in college too. They said, oh yeah, college is gonna be so hard, and I underestimated that. So learning how to study and like learning how to adult, obviously, yeah.
Yes, I would say the same thing because in school, like in high school, I never studied, but I still did very good in school. So now I'm having to develop study habits at work when I never had to study before. So that would definitely be the hardest thing.
Nice. Anybody else?
For me, it's just getting. You can go ahead.
Okay, I say for me, it's like trying not to do everything last minute. Cause like in high school, I would procrastinate to like the very end. But like now I still procrastinate, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm up later than I want to be. Like sometimes I want to like sleep or whatever, but now I gotta, actually get it done because they're not gonna take that late work. So you actually have to get it done before 11:59 and stuff. So still something I'm adjusting to.
Nice. How do you want to add?
Just for me, the difficult part was time management because you have to really balance out everything because you don't want to just be in college just doing work all day. You also want to have a social life. You also want to make sure you eat. You also want to take care of yourself. So I had to learn to balance and basically be an adult. Like I had to learn how to be on my own. And it wasn't difficult, but I had to get used to it.
That's a real thing. Okay, someone said, how did you deal with senioritis when you were in high school? And yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself. So when you were in high school and you were really, really, really ready to be gone, right? How did you navigate that? Like, how did you deal with, just being over high school?
We were during the COVID years, right? I didn't know how to deal with that. It was really bad. Yeah, we had online school at that time, and I was just so ready to be over it. I was on bed in Zoom, like not even opening my eyes for the class. But that doesn't mean to say that it can't be dealt with. I think that motivation to sort of like go to a new area and go to like a higher place where you want to be is like definitely something that kept me going. Yeah. So the motivation to go on to bigger things.
The way I dealt with like senioritis, because my senioritis was bad. Like the last 2 months of school, it was bad. So like every single time Upper Bound was at the school, I would go in there for like a good little 30 minutes to just like decompress from the day, to like try to get myself back into the vibe to like do my schoolwork. Cause I had to make sure my work was done. And that was terrible, especially with the senioritis. So I was like, I'm already to my college. Why do I need to do the work? I needed to go ahead and finish that work so I keep my scholarships that I already got. So I was just like thinking about all the scholarships that I got and like the schools. Cause like they do look at like all of your grades. So I was like, I need to make sure all my grades stay good so I can keep my scholarship.
Nice. Anybody else? And I'm gonna say this next question kind of lends itself to that. Now obviously y'all are trio students, and y'all know this because y'all know yourselves, and y'all had friends when y'all were in the programs. People are different, right? Some people are introverts, some people are extroverts, some people, make friends really easily. Some people don't want to know anybody other than themselves, right? Did socializing has it made your college experience better or easier? Do you have any tips on getting to know people when you move into a new space, when you are so far away from, everybody you've kind of ever known? Like any tips for socializing, and did kind of opening yourself up to socializing make your experience better or easier?
You should go to any events that you could go to, if they offer them, and just be like as genuine as possible. Like if you try to like act, a lot of people try to act like overly extroverted in the first 2 weeks, and sometimes it just comes off as like annoying. But if you just be genuine and like try to like meet people that you might be interested in, then you'll end up with like a network of people that you have to talk to and connect with. But yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like for me, socializing definitely made the college experience easier for me. Because like when you first get to college, you have to realize like you're not the only one going through that transition that you're going through. Like literally all of your peers are also going to college for the first time in their lives. So everyone's all in the same boat, and it's hard I mean, it's easy to forget that everyone's going through the same like kind of transition that you're going through. And kind of keeping that in the back of my head definitely made it easier for me to just talk to people. Like when orientation was happening, like during the first few weeks, I feel like are definitely the best time to like meet people, because cliques haven't formed, no one knows anyone. So
Right.
that's like the best time to just like get to know people. And I mean, I kind of had to force myself to like talk to people, because otherwise I definitely was just like, if I even like Shadrach said, like go to events and stuff. If I went to events, I was definitely gonna just stand in the corner and just watch people. So I kind of had to like force myself to talk to strangers. And it's just like asking for their name, asking where they're from, and then starting a conversation just from that. But definitely like know that you're not going to be the only one who's like going through that transition. So it definitely makes that like knowing that definitely makes it easier to just talk to other people and make friends.
Nice. Anybody else on that one?
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Go ahead.
I'll say don't be afraid to just talk to people, because the more you know, the more you know. Like that person that you're afraid to talk to could be the person that can help you get an A on a test. So don't be afraid to just walk up and make a new friend. And then the same goes to people that you meet in college are your lifetime friends. So just make friends.
And
Yeah, I agree with what Harsh was saying. Like, to be honest, I used to have very bad social anxiety, but like once I got here, it's like it just disappeared. Like before I got here, I would say definitely connecting with people online, like through social media, through social media and in group chat. That definitely helped me transition, because I knew so many people before I even got here. And now I'm here. There's a girl next door, and she went to Lovejoy. Like I wasn't expecting anybody from home to be down here where I'm at. So that was surprising.
nice. And yeah, and you wouldn't know that kind of stuff unless you kind of open up and talk to people. Yeah, that's good stuff. I see that Amy kind of asked Hirsch about one of the scholarships that he applied to in the chat. That is actually an outstanding scholarship. I think the deadline for it is the deadline for nominations is like Wednesday of this week. I think Questbridge's nomination deadline is like Wednesday of this week. but Hirsch, I know everybody's not looking in the chat, right? And so I'm just gonna, I see your response. It's a great response. I just want you to say it out loud for people. Like when you get to the point of applying for scholarships and stuff, Hirsch, what was that advice?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely starting early. And that's what Questbridge did for me. Like through Questbridge, it's like a super early application versus other, like the Common App. So I was starting on my college applications, mainly essays, in like the month of August of my senior year, because the first deadline was like September, which is coming up right now for you guys. Starting early is definitely the biggest thing. And as far as like advice for the essays that you're writing, it's called a personal statement for a reason. Like you want to make sure that you're being true to yourself and not being afraid to like really just be personal. Like don't be afraid to be vulnerable in that essay. The college is not going to know who you are unless you tell them who you are, and that's your only chance to tell that college like what you're about. So you got to put it all on that paper, or I guess laptop screen, computer screen. And the next biggest advice I would give is like go through multiple drafts. Your first draft is not going to be your final draft. Like I went through, let's see, like 5 drafts of my my college personal statement. Like I'm working on med school personal statement right now and I'm on draft 7 and it's still not done. So like the more and more you edit, the better it's going to get. And you just have to be patient. Find people who are close to you to read those essays, and they'll give you like they'll be able to tell you whether you're being true to yourself, whether you are telling the college like who you really are, even if you can't see it yourself when you're writing the essay. But start early, go through revisions, and be vulnerable. Those are my like top 3 takeaways that I would give.
Nice. And listen, and I'm going to say this too, and always continue to look, right? I mess with Hirsch a lot because Hirsch, even as a you know, as a 3rd year college student now, Hirsch still texts and emails me every once in a while like, hey, I found another scholarship, I'm applying to it now. And so even when you get to your schools, right, there is money available. If you come across scholarships, still apply for those types of things. I know I can speak for all of our team when I say this. Our team will absolutely still write you recommendation letters if you need them. Like if you got people in your college and you want them to write it, they'll write it as well. But if you reach out to myself or Mrs. Stokes or Mr. Stokes or Miss Q or, you know, whoever, we all students that are on this call, we love y'all. We have worked with y'all for all of this time. And if you find something and you think we can help you with it, please continue to reach out and let us kind of know what's going on. And we'll definitely help however we can.
That's good advice. And like some of these scholarships are just straight up steals. Like Mr. Kenny has written the same letter of rec for me for the same scholarship for 2 years in a row, and I got it. Like it's just like some of them are just steals. So definitely like look out for.
It's a really good letter. It's a really good letter I wrote though. It's a really good
I'm sure it is. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
Good stuff. Okay, so someone said, did any of you face any hardship that you don't mind speaking about, you know, that you had to overcome, you know, during your time in high school, or something that you had to overcome while you were trying to apply for college or anything like that? That you don't mind sharing if you feel so inclined. All right, we're gonna move on.
I was going. It's kind of a crazy story, but the day FAFSA opened, that night before, I lost my father. So I had to maneuver through financial aid. I had to maneuver through homecoming, had to maneuver through college applications, graduation, and then moving in. And to this day, it was a very big hardship I had to face, and I still face it to this day, but it's done nothing but made me stronger. So if any of y'all are going through something, it gets better. And it's going to pay off, because it's done nothing but made me stronger. And then as it was making me stronger, I just worked harder and harder and harder because I knew my end goal was to make him very proud. And I achieved that. So
Absolutely.
it gets better.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that. Annie mentioned this a little bit earlier. A couple of them have touched on it. Do you feel there was a large increase in the difficulty in the academic work when you transition from high school into college? Nev started shaking her head real hard. So anybody want to speak to just the increase in difficulty, the amount of challenge with the academic work?
I think like the level of effort that you have to put into like all of your college assignments are just so much more amplified than whatever you did in high school. Like you could spend like a few hours doing something for like one class, or like doing like this long reading that you need to do for like preparation of the next seminar or the next lecture. So it's a more time consuming, I'd say, like way more time consuming. But if you manage it well, then you'd be fine.
I recommend finding resources in school, because sometimes like freshmen, we're very prideful. Like we enter college thinking that, oh yeah, we went through all of this in high school. We went through AP classes, we went through dual enrollment, we got this. And then you end up failing a test that you studied like 40 plus hours for. And then that turns out to be something that you're like, okay, I can't do this on my own. I need to find tutoring services, or I need to find sort of like academic coaches or any advisors in your school that you have. Use your resources, use friends, use people in your life that you know that are going to help you in that situation, because it can help a long way. And finding that early is like much better. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great advice. Both of you, that's true. Are you unmuting them? Okay, yeah.
I wanted to answer. Okay, so like this work, like I'm actually studying for an exam right now while we're on the call, because it's just so much you have to know. Because like in high school, I would just skate by because the information was easy to it just clicked easier. Now it's so stressful, and then sometimes like some teachers, they don't like helping. So you have to literally go back and teach yourself. Because like me and my friends, we literally pull all-nighters just to study, and we still don't even be done with the work. Like it's so much work, but it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. It's just a lot.
Also with that, someone said, how do you stay motivated? Like, how do you maintain the mindset to stay on task with your assignments and to, keep your grades up? Like, how do you keep yourself motivated and maintain that mindset?
I think about my future career and how much money I'm going to be making. And like, because like I want to be a travel nurse. So I'm like, see, I just need to go ahead and get through this chemistry class so then I can start the next chemistry class. So then I can go to the nursing program, finish. I just keep thinking about like my future career.
Yeah, that's definitely a good approach. I have a different approach. For me, I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna like crazy like stress over getting a B versus an A. I definitely was that guy in high school, but once I got to college, I was like, you know what? It's just not worth all that stress to try to like be the perfect student in college. But for me, the way I stay motivated is like I take breaks. I have fully embraced spontaneity coming to college. So like if there's something on a Friday night that's happening and I'm like, I'll just go for it. I'll just go with my friends, leave the library just at the drop of a dime. And then I'll just do it the next morning, like do my work. That like re-energizes me to do my work for the rest of the weekend. Rather than just like kind of micromanaging my time. I keep a pretty loose schedule. Obviously I go to classes and stuff, but in terms of like, I remember my first week of school. So at Dartmouth, everyone runs on a Google Calendar. It's crazy. Like people put their meals in their Google calendars, and people even put their like from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm gonna study general chemistry. Like people do that, like put that kind of stuff, like micromanage their time. And I was doing that, but it's just not healthy. So like leaving room for myself to just have fun and breathe and be spontaneous, get away from the work from time to time. Definitely keeps me motivated because it gives me a break from school.
To add on to that, I forgot to mention this earlier, but Brown doesn't like have a GPA, and you can technically take every class without like a grade. So you can take like S and C, meaning you don't have like a A, B, C. You just have like pass or fail for the class. And you could technically take every single class you take at Brown, pass, fail, even though it's not recommended. So if you have like a class that you were just interested in, but you don't like, it has nothing to do with what you want to do, you can just take it S&C and not worry about like, failing or trying too hard in that class. So I like that about Brown, and it really takes the stress away from a lot of your classes. So if you have like a math class you are just interested in, but you really don't want to stress over, you could take it S&C and not worry about it too much. So
Nice. The next question I see, I know Nev already said she kind of decided in 7th grade. But when did you guys kind of start deciding on your school and your major? Like, was it like, was it anything in particular? Like, in the beginning of the call, I know people kind of logged in at different times. In the beginning of the call, some of our guests were saying, when you're younger, you can kind of have a general plan, and then kind of the closer you get to graduation, you can kind of start, narrowing that plan down. But is there any time in particular that y'all say they need to kind of really have an idea of their school and their major?
I, not too long ago, changed my major. I changed my major multiple times. And let me start off by saying, if you're a high school senior and you don't know what you want to do with your life, it's okay.
It is.
You still have time.
It's okay.
You take your time with it, but don't take too much time, because time flies. Because I literally moved in yesterday, and now it's September. So I changed my major from sports management to marketing, and now I'm back at sports management. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, but then I just started doing a lot more research, because the more I researched, the more I knew. And then from there, I just knew that I'll just do sports management and then get my master's, and blah, 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 blah. So it just takes research.
Good stuff. Anybody else on that one? Oh, go ahead, Annie.
Well, for me, I didn't choose my major till I actually started applying to schools. Like, because I knew what I wanted to be. Like, I want to be a lawyer, but I didn't know what to actually study, because you can go to law school, anything. And then I chose psychology, and then I ended up changing it to business management. So basically, I mean, you don't have to have your whole life figured out. It's fine. You can always change your major, basically. Yeah.
Right, definitely, because I didn't decide on my major until, well, I didn't completely decide on my major until my senior year. At first, I was on anesthesiology, and then I was like, oh, I want to do veterinary. And I didn't decide on my school until May. Definitely do it earlier. Don't be like that. But I just didn't know at that point. That's all. It's okay. You have time. You're gonna figure it out. Promise you.
And for any of you that didn't know, Annie just said something, and it might have got glanced over, but I do want y'all to understand that. For a lot of you, you want careers that will require additional schooling. And so you can actually go to school, like she said, she wants to go to law school. She's a business administration major right now. A lot of schools are like that. Like, obviously, if you're trying to go in the medical field, you might want to do a science. But really, you can apply for medical school, whether you're a biology major or a chemistry major or, or a history major. Like, you could really be any of those majors and still apply for med school. So I know sometimes that doesn't necessarily make sense when you're still in high school, but it is absolutely a thing that you can go into college with a major, especially if you know you're going to have to do graduate coursework. You can still apply for law school or med school, regardless of what your major is. So someone asked about being a student athlete, and we're actually going to do another call for student athletes at some point. But I will say, with any scholarship, and a lot of our students that are on the call do have scholarships. With any scholarship, when you're doing your FAFSA and when your scholarship award letters start coming out, you always want to just make sure you see what you've been awarded, so that you know if there's any gap that you are responsible for. Like if you whatever scholarships you get awarded, you want to make sure that you kind of read them over and know exactly what's left for your family contribution. And so obviously you're in the program. We'll definitely be working with you on that as you get to senior year and that kind of stuff. But that's definitely something that you have to pay attention to. And we got about 10 minutes on the call. So I'm gonna jump down a bit. Is living in the dorm better than living in an apartment or at home? Like just how has your dorm experience been?
Awesome. It's good. I'd say if you don't want to live at home, then I'd say dorm is the best for you. But I say that for me, I've only lived in a dorm, so I've never lived at home like during my school year. But I'd say that it's best when you want to like socialize with people in your area, or like have a place where you just want to hang out with people at like 1 a.m. in the morning, I think that dorms are like the best places to cultivate like long-term relationships too. And they don't have to be your long-term like friends or anything like that, but it definitely gives you like a lot of things to do with people with so many various interests. Because if you're not finding friends in classes, you find friends at your dorms, or you find friends at events. Your dorms have so many different various majors, and if they're co-ed, then they're also like good opportunities to socialize and network with people.
Anybody else dorm experience, dorm life? Y'all do y'all laundry well? Y'all any good laundry stories? I saw Sanila post something the other day about people taking her clothes out the washing machine. You know what I'm saying? So it's the thing.
That happened to me yesterday. I took a nap for like an hour maybe, and I came back and it was like they just threw it out, and then it was on the top of the laundry. I was like, damn.
No, it's real. It happens at all schools. Just so you know. Nev, were you saying something?
Yeah, I recommend staying on campus. I love my little dorm. I got a 4x4 apartment style dorm. I love it so much. And I feel like I'm getting so many more experiences than what I would have gotten if I was trying to commute, even though I couldn't have. But like if I wanted to commute, like stay off campus, because there's so much going on like in the dorms. Like even tonight, my RA is having like a painting sip for all the residents so we can make friends and stuff. Like I feel like staying on dorm is a really good way to make friends, make new connections and stuff.
Okay, we got about 10 minutes left, and I know Hirsch is about to leave in a second. Hirsch said he low-key is still undecided as a junior in college. He's still figuring it out, which I think is a real thing. There's a real thing. He said he's gonna pass on Brown because they messing up in the laundry room.
I do have to leave.
Yes.
So thanks for inviting me, Mr. Kenny. It was great talking to all the students. I put my email in the chat, so like anyone's free to email me if you have any questions, or like Mr. Kenny can give you my contact info. But yeah, good luck on the process, and I hope I said something that was meaningful or helpful.
Absolutely. And really with these last couple of minutes, any of you, if you have any parting words for our students that are on the call, please, this is kind of open floor. I think that was pretty much all of the questions that I saw. I think if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But do y'all have any parting thoughts for our students?
Have fun. And I don't know where you guys are in your high school journey. I think have fun, find yourself and your interests. It obviously, it isn't going to be like built upon like as concrete as like in the future, but I'd say like helpfully, like that definitely helps with like college applications. When you find your interests, find your passions, hobbies, explore something outside of like what you're trying to be. Like, I don't know, take an art class, learn an instrument, because that's what I'm trying to do right now as a college junior. Like I'm trying to find more hobbies, and I wish I could have done that in the past. And it's like best to enjoy your experience. It's just living in your present. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
enjoy your time in high school, because once you get to college, I'm not gonna say everything's different, or like I'm not gonna put that narrative out there, but it is a lot different, especially if you're away from home. Like for me, a drive to Atlanta is not bad, but I don't have my car out here. So whatever I need to do, I do it on my own. So just start preparing yourself to be on your own, to be independent, and enjoy high school. Because once you get to college, it's just different. It's just very different. In a good way, though. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have lots
You're
of
gonna
fun
have fun in college,
but
but that is real. A lot of y'all do rush. Y'all rush high school. Y'all really feel like I can't wait to get out of here. And those are times and moments that you never get back. Like, so you should, enjoy your high school experience for as much as you can, right? Like college is coming, adulthood is coming, but enjoy the time that you have in high school for whatever that looks like for you. Any other advice to my speakers?
Try not to stress out too much about like going to college and like getting into the college. Like you need to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's and stuff, making sure you're good when it comes to like going to school. But please don't stress out, because then it'll make your high school experience bad. Because you're like, oh my God, I need to make sure I'm doing my work so I can make sure my grades good so I get into college. Just have fun, please, because it's gonna get hard as soon as you get here.
All right. That's real. That's real. That's real. All right. So if nobody else has anything and no other students have any questions, Mrs. Leggett just put the attendance link for the call in the chat. If you are Clayton, obviously you can go and sign in on Lakai. If you need help with that, you can contact myself or Miss Q. We have also put a brief evaluation in, so please make sure you do the evaluation that is in the chat for all of our current students. And I just want to say again, thank y'all so much for joining us, to our alumni and different people. Listen, they're all living their best lives, and look at the time management. We got multiple people who are on here studying currently and leaving one meeting, going to another meeting. They got on the call from meetings that they had earlier in the day, and they wanted to make sure they shared time with y'all, because again, they've been in y'all situations, in y'all shoes. They know what it's like to be in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade and thinking, okay, I got so many things I want to do in the future, and I'm not 100% sure how to get there. And so I always want to, thank our students when they come back and give us some time. And so, yeah, so thank y'all so much for the call tonight. Students, y'all have no other questions, and graduates, alumni, thank y'all so much. Hopefully, I don't know about Brown and Stanford, but for the rest of y'all, hopefully I get to y'all campus real soon. And if we get to your campus soon, we'll definitely love to see y'all. The staff would definitely love to see y'all. So Kennesaw State, I know we were at, and we'll probably be back at sometime this year. Georgia Southern, like I said, we'll be at Georgia Southern in a couple of weeks. We might be at Clemson around spring break. We've talked about it. It's not in stone yet. And UGA, we talk about UGA like almost every other week. We just got to get some trips out there. So that's good stuff. Oh yes, SSU is actually, we doing SSU in for fall break as well. Yeah, I see somebody put that in the chat. Anyway, great call tonight, guys. Thank y'all so much. Right, I don't have anything else. Anybody on the staff need to add anything? Anybody on the staff need to add anything? No, I'm gonna take that as a no. Oh, how about, since we're at the end of the call, I guess I can allow people to unmute themselves now. Especially the staff. I'm just gonna get all of our faces back on screen now. Remove spotlight and remove